Give power to a man, and you will discover who he truly is. Want to know a person's character? Give them power. Some people, as they start to progress, end up losing themselves. They put their character on the back burner, meaning they set aside the set of moral and ethical qualities they learned throughout their lives and begin to value money, power, and influence more. Not to mention, it's not uncommon to start despising, humiliating, and even oppressing those they consider inferior. But how did Marcus Aurelius, who was recognized as the most powerful man in the world in his time, avoid being corrupted by ego, vanity, or power? The secret was applying Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most important Stoic philosophers and the Roman emperor from 161 AD to 180 AD. He was recognized as the last of the 5 good emperors, and his reign was known as the Pax Romana, meaning the Roman peace. In fact, when Marcus Aurelius died, the peace of Rome came to an end. But what made Marcus Aurelius so good? Stoicism is a simple philosophy, but it has the power to transform the way we view life, thus expanding our perception. It enables us to face difficulties and adversities with more clarity, discernment, and mental strength. With the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, we will explore 7 teachings from his most intimate writings, called Meditations. But before we start, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any knowledge, as it could change your life. 1. Choose what to fight for. The Romans essentially had no concept of the world outside the Roman Empire. So in their view, the emperor was effectively the sole ruler of the world. That's what made Marcus Aurelius the most powerful man of his time. And in this position, he could have anything he wanted. The lives of emperors were essentially synonymous with luxury, vanity, and power. The only pursuit of wisdom was driven by vanity, like the practice of rhetoric, where the concept was to learn persuasive argumentation and subjects to appear smarter and wiser than your adversaries, thus gaining the admiration and idolization of all. In other words, appearing intelligent was more important than acquiring knowledge and ethics. And that's what Roman emperors did. They indulged in vanity and all the pleasures that money, sex, and drink could offer. So, any vice the mind could consider was within Marcus Aurelius's immediate reach. In addition to his personal fortune, Marcus Aurelius was entirely free to use the empire's money, change laws, customs, or even alter ethics in his favor. No one or nothing would stop him. He wouldn't be punished, nor would he immediately face consequences for fulfilling his wildest desires. Even with everything at his disposal, Marcus Aurelius chose what to fight for and followed the path of virtue. He chose to be a good man and had his character molded by Stoic philosophy. And not just in some situations, or for a period, but every day, for the 19 years of his reign as emperor. Marcus Aurelius faced vanity, his own ego, by declaring, "I choose virtue, not for the sake of fame, praise, and admiration, but only for the sake of being good." And this attitude truly holds value. Imagine the context and consider if you were in these circumstances for nearly 20 years. Could you consistently, day after day, overcome the temptation, knowing that there would be absolutely no consequences, no matter what you chose to do? We can't go back in time to know our true reaction, but today we live surrounded by temptations. If we don't have clarity about what to fight for, it's easy to fall into the trap of vanity, flattery, or the vices that money, laziness, and lust can offer. Think about the reasons that drive your life towards virtue. Maybe you want to be an example for your children, a small child in the family. Perhaps your why is to be better in your personal life and grow your character, to have intimacy with God. Maybe it's to serve your marriage, your family, to excel professionally. Keep your why in mind, and this clarity will be essential to recognize the actions of vanity and lust that would lead you away from your character. 2. Realize your potential. Marcus Aurelius believed in living in accordance with nature, and when speaking of nature, he he wasn't referring to plants or animals, but rather to the natural order of the universe. To live in accordance with nature was synonymous with living in a wise and virtuous manner. Stoicism asserts that human beings are, above all, thinking creatures capable of exercising reason. Although we share many instincts with other animals, our capacity for rational thought is what makes us human. Reason governs our decisions to some extent. The Stoics call this our ruling faculty. It allows us to assess our thoughts, feelings, and impulses and determine whether they are good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. Therefore, we have an innate duty to protect our ability to reason and use it appropriately. When we reason well about life and live rationally, we exhibit the virtue of wisdom. Living in accordance with nature, in part, means fulfilling our natural potential. That is the natural order. A caterpillar becomes a butterfly. A fragile, featherless chick becomes an eagle, not because they desire it, but because they were created for it. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius believed that a human being's duty was to realize their potential. Nature made them human, and with that in mind, it was their duty on this earth to be the kindest and most virtuous human being they could be. And that was their obligation as a human being. Someone's greatness lies in getting the best out of themselves. For Marcus Aurelius, this was the pinnacle of human achievement, and failing to fulfill one's potential was the darkest place one could sink into. In the morning, when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I'm rising to the work of a human being. Marcus Aurelius. 3. Adversity is the way. We all go through adversities, and Marcus Aurelius was no exception. Marcus Aurelius faced significant challenges and dealt with critical periods during his reign as emperor. The Roman Empire was embroiled in military conflicts and constant wars, with attempts at invasion from the northern border, particularly by Germanic tribes. They faced a pandemic called the Antonine Plague, which decimated a large part of the Roman population. And in addition to all the challenges and stress, he also had to cope with the loss of his children and his wife. But Marcus Aurelius realized that encountering adversity is simply a part of the human condition. It is impossible for us to live without any kind of problems or difficulties. Regardless of your age or financial condition, all of us face some form of hardship and conflict in life. And there is nothing we can do to live immune to it. You have no control over external events, but you can control how you react in each conflict situation. You can control whether you are prepared to face adversity when it comes. When these events happen, don't complain, act, endure. You can endure anything your will can control. So what's left to complain about? The world is not a trap, but a place of work. And the work is to be a good person. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we have power over our minds, not over external events. And by realizing this, we find the strength to feel capable of facing any conflict. Instead of complaining or questioning, feel empowered to have the tools and the spirit to endure and go through it. Endure these events like a brave man, pass through adversity with courage, and come out the other side. When you do, realize that this supposed bad thing wasn't so bad after all. It was simply an opportunity to persevere, to overcome, to keep moving forward. Marcus Aurelius. 4. Money is indifferent. Marcus Aurelius was a man of immense wealth. His mother owned several factories on the outskirts of Rome. However, he did not believe this was inherently a problem. Marcus Aurelius did not despise material possessions, as some other philosophers have throughout history. Instead, he was cautious about his relationship with the things he owned. Marcus Aurelius could have had anything he wanted: money, houses, art, wine, but he chose not to. Instead, he said, "Don't set your mind on things you don't possess, as they are insignificant. They don't fulfill your potential, only you can do that." Marcus Aurelius did not transfer his value to his possessions. He knew that his pursuit of being a better human being and improving his character were quests only he could undertake, and they could not be measured by the amount of his wealth. Often, if we lose our job, for example, we feel humiliated and like failures. But our value cannot be deposited or transferred to our material possessions. Of course, everyone wants the dignity of work and an ethical life, but we cannot let misfortune or difficulty define our worth as human beings. Similarly, on the positive side, when everything is going very well, we start to relate our wealth and money to our personal value. Reflect on what you have and cherish these things. Remember how much you desired them when you didn't have them yet. But be careful. Marcus Aurelius did not value them so much that he would be desperate if he lost them. The things we have are pleasant, but not essential. They do not make you a better person, more virtuous or kinder. According to Marcus Aurelius, your real potential in life is greater than accumulating things. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. Marcus Aurelius. 5. Remember our common humanity. We are born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of upper and lower teeth. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. Marcus Aurelius. According to Marcus Aurelius, we all share a common bond in our human existence. We all deal with difficult emotions, devastating experiences, and daily stress. Of course, each person has a different lifestyle, but in some aspects, we are all exactly the same. For example, even if a person is very wealthy, has access to better food, medical care, and regular exercise, it does not guarantee them good health. None of us is immune to pain, illness, loss, or death. We humans are naturally social creatures, and it is through this social interaction that changes arise and we evolve. That's why when Marcus Aurelius encountered a shameless, bad, or difficult person, he would ask himself, is it possible for a world to exist without shamelessness? No. So don't ask for the impossible. There have to be shameless people in the world. This is one of them. We know that encountering difficult, lazy, or malicious people is inevitable in our lives. However, Marcus Aurelius advises us not to react to their provocations. Instead, we should attribute their misbehavior to ignorance. They behave badly because they lack the knowledge that you possess. When someone says or does something that is wrong in your eyes, the judgment of being wrong is based on the knowledge you have. If a person does not have the same information or wisdom as you, they are unlikely to arrive at the same conclusions about what is right and wrong. For example, if someone is making jokes about your weight and keeps calling you fat, it may be because they don't see body shaming, the practice of making negative comments about someone's body, as something bad. Instead, they may think they are being motivational and genuinely helping. You are upset because you think it is cruel and it affects your confidence and may make things even worse, while they may have no idea how it negatively impacted you. More importantly, just like everyone else, we can also be ignorant. Think about it. How often do you act or speak with the intention of annoying or harming another person? How often do you actively pursue provoking or mocking someone else? Often we only see the flaws in others and ignore our own. It's like the fable of the two pouches. A long time ago, Prometheus, the creator of humanity, hung two pouches filled with human faults on each person. In front of the chest, he hung a pouch with the faults of others, and on the back, he hung a second pouch with the person's own faults. Since then, it happens that humans only see the faults of others and do not notice their own imperfections. Marcus Aurelius believed that we are born for each other. He repeatedly reminded himself that this was the natural order. A tree grows fruit so that animals can eat. Animals die so that worms can feed. Just as in the natural world, we are made to help each other. This is our duty. The only true failure in life would be to abandon this responsibility. 6. Life is limited. Marcus Aurelius spent a lot of time contemplating death, to the extent that it would be impossible to make this video without discussing his views on the subject, not because he was morbid, but because it led him to question the way he lived. His thinking about death was simple. It is coming, whether you like it or not. Stoicism teaches us not to be negligent or disdainful, for death is a natural desire, part of its cycle. It needs to happen, and it will happen. It is as necessary as any other natural thing. Like birth, breathing, eating, and reproducing, we act in denial, pretending that death doesn't exist or that it exists only for others. Marcus Aurelius thought a lot about this. How the body keeps going until it can't anymore. How the heart beats until it can't. Yet we lose control of our minds, weakening them and letting ourselves be beaten. In a life in which your body doesn't let you down, it's shameful that in it your soul does, and is more inclined to this than to that. Marcus Aurelius. Knowing that we will die leads us to examine our lives. What am I doing with my life? Does it make sense to live this way? Am I truly living what I dreamed of? If I were to die today, would I die in peace, having lived up to my potential? Just as nature has designed us to be good, to help one another, and to reach our maximum potential, nature has designed us to die. So while you're here, live and be kind, be good, fulfill your role in nature, and then die. Because death is also a part of that role. When you wake up in the morning, think of the tremendous privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius. 7. Live like a Stoic. Marcus Aurelius, along with Seneca and Epictetus, was one of the pioneers of the philosophy known as Stoicism. The Stoics believed in many things. Their school of thought encompassed logic, ethics, physics, and much more. But there is a distinction at the core of Stoic philosophy, the distinction between pleasure and happiness. Money, fame, even success were external stimuli that provided fleeting moments of pleasure, but that was not happiness. Happiness was not so temporary. The concept of happiness was something more. It was a state that came entirely from within, not from being an emperor like Marcus Aurelius, not from worldly things. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Marcus Aurelius. In Stoicism, they said that to achieve happiness, you should live a life of virtue, continuously improve yourself, and become the best you possibly could be. The only failure, the only true pain, the only true sadness, the only thing truly worth fearing is disappointing yourself or not reaching your potential. Because to be great is your duty. To be great is in your nature. Keep yourself simple, good, pure, serious, unpretentious, a friend of justice, God-fearing, kind, full of affection, strong in all your loyalties. Struggle to live as philosophy would have you live. Revere the gods and help people. Life is short. Marcus Aurelius. And if you like this content, don't forget to share it with someone who might need it. Help us spread this amazing knowledge. Now, if you want to understand a bit more about Stoicism, just click on one of the videos that's appearing on your screen. Thank you for watching.